I want you to picture a factory, a really high-tech, futuristic assembly line. Let's say it builds pristine, high-performance sports cars.
Okay, I'm with you.
You've got robots, sparks flying, lasers measuring things down to the micron.
The whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
So input at one end, finished car at the other.
Exactly. Raw materials come in, steel, glass, rubber. The machines assemble them. And at the very end, the line splits into two conveyor belts.
Right.
One belt takes the finished car to a showroom where you can see it and hear the engine rev. The other takes, the blueprints and data of that car to a computer server where engineers can analyze the logic of the build.
That sounds like a pretty standard, efficient system. You've got an output for the physical world, the car, and an output for the information system, the data.
Ideally, yeah. But imagine if right in the middle of this high-speed assembly line, the half-built cars had to stop at this massive, dusty checkpoint. They aren't finished yet. The engine isn't even connected to the wheels. But they have to stop there so a guy with a clipboard can measure the door handles.
That sounds incredibly wasteful. Why there? Why not measure them at the end?
Exactly. Or, better yet, design the machine so it can't install them wrong in the first place.
Right. It's just bureaucracy.
It's pure clutter. And today, we are going to talk about blowing up that checkpoint. We're looking at a foundational, frankly revolutionary piece of linguistic theory titled Minimalism and the Eliminability of S-Structure.
S-structure. It sounds a bit like something from a sci-fi novel or maybe architecture. But in linguistics, getting rid of it was a massive move.
It really was. For a long time, this S-structure was central to how we thought language worked. But the text we're covering today argues it's just a theory internal artifact. Our mission is to see if we can strip language down to its bare essentials.
And that's really the core question of the Minimalist Program. It's less a rigid theory and more a research question. Is language, perfect?
Perfect is a loaded word.
It is. But the hypothesis is that the language faculty in our brain is an optimal solution to a design problem. The system should only contain what is absolutely necessary to link sound and meaning.
And anything else, any middleman that doesn't talk to your ears or your mind is suspect.
Exactly, it's clutter.
So let's set the stage. Before this whole minimalist approach, how did linguists think a sentence was built? What was the old blueprint?
We used to rely on something called the Y model. Imagine the letter Y.
Okay, got a Y in my head.
At the bottom stem of the Y, you have D structure, or deep structure. This is where the basic logic of your sentence starts. You grab words from your mental dictionary, the lexicon, and you lay them out. John, eat, apple.
The raw materials.
Right. Then some movement happens. Maybe you want to make it a question, so things shift around. And then you hit the fork in the road, the middle of the Y. That was S structure, or surface structure.
That's the checkpoint, the guy with the clipboard.
Precisely. It's the sentence roughly as it looks before we say it. From there, the Y branches out. One arm goes to PF phonetic form. That's the sound. Instructions for your mouth.
The showroom where we hear the car.
And the other arm goes to LF logical form. That's the meaning, the instructions for your brain.
So, deep structure, surface structure, sound, and meaning. It seems logical enough. Why is that a problem?
It's a problem because S structure doesn't talk to the outside world. PF talks to your ears. LF talks to your thoughts. But S structure, it's just there. The argument is that it's theory internal. We invented it to explain things we didn't understand yet.
So we want to fire the guy with the clipboard.
Essentially, yes. We want to prove he serves no real purpose.
But you don't just fire a whole department. Smart people believed in S-structure for decades. Why did we think we needed it?
Well, there were two big reasons. First, variation. Languages look very different on the surface.
Oh, for sure. I usually drink coffee. But a French speaker says what sounds like, I drink usually coffee. The verb jumps over the adverb.
Exactly. Or think about questions. In English, we move the question word, what did you buy? The what travels to the front. But in Japanese, the word for what just sits there. It doesn't move.
So S-structure was the place where we could say, look, at this specific snapshot, English looks like this and Japanese looks like that.
It was the easiest place to describe the differences, yeah.
Mm.
The second reason is that we have these strict grammatical laws that seem to apply only at that middle stage.
Like what? Give me an example of a law that lives at the checkpoint.
The classic one is binding theory. It's the set of rules that controls pronouns, when he can refer to John and when it can't.
Okay, so the old thinking was we need S-structure because that's where the binding police check your ID.
And the minimalist argument is, no, the binding police actually work at the end of the line, at the meaning level, LF. We can just move the checkpoint to the destination.
Okay, this is where the text gets really technical, but I think it's crucial. They use this very specific puzzle to prove the point, involving John and he.
Right, the famous he-John reconstruction puzzle. It's a bit of a brain twister.
Lay it on me, I'm ready.
Okay, so consider this sentence. How many pictures that John took did you say he liked?
How many pictures did John took? Did you say he liked? Okay, I'm parsing it.
The question is simple. Can the word he refer to John?
Yeah, of course. John took pictures and I said he liked them. He is John. Totally natural.
Great, that's your intuition. Now, here's the rule condition C of binding theory. It basically says a pronoun, like he, cannot be higher up in the sentence structure than the name it refers to, John.
Higher up as in, like, it commands it from a higher branch on the sentence tree.
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah.
If he commands John, they can't be the same person.
Okay, so let's look at our sentence again. How many pictures that John took? That whole phrase is at the front. And then, did you say he liked? He is way at the back.
Okay, on the surface, John is higher up than he, so the rule is fine. The surface structure says, go ahead, no violation here.
So S structure gets the right answer. It lets them be the same person. So why change anything?
Because the text argues it's getting the right answer for the wrong reason. The minimalist idea is that to really understand how many, your brain performs a sort of magic trick at the logical form level. It does reconstruction.
Reconstruction.
Yeah.
So it moves things back to where they came from, logically.
Yes. To understand what he liked, your brain takes that whole phrase, pictures that John took, and mentally puts it back where it belongs as the object of the verb liked.
So inside my head at the LF level, the sentence looks like,
Did you say he liked pictures that John took?
exactly. Now look at the positions in that version.
He liked pictures that John took. Oh, wait. Now he is the subject, right next to the phrase with John. He commands John.
Bingo. At logical form, the rule should be violated.
But we just agreed that they can be the same person. If the rule is violated at LF, shouldn't the sentence be impossible? And this is the beautiful part. The text argues that the rule is more nuanced. The main victory here isn't just solving the puzzle, it's proving where you solve it. You can explain everything by looking only at the LF interface.
So we don't need S structure to explain it.
We don't need it at all. The bouncer at the final destination meaning has all the info. We don't need a middleman.
Okay, let's talk about these interfaces then, because the text uses a great concept here called full interpretation.
Right. So we've deleted the middleman. Now we just have the two endpoints, PF, which is sound, and LF, which is meaning. And you can think of them as two very exclusive clubs.
Exclusive how?
They have strict dress codes. The sound club, PF, only accepts phonetic objects, noises, stress, intonation. It does not care about grammar.
And the meaning club, LF.
Only accepts legitimate objects of logic, arguments, chains, operator variables. It doesn't want to know about noise or if a vowel is long or short.
So the goal of the whole language factory is to separate the parts perfectly. Metal to the sound club, data to the meaning club. What happens if you screw it up?
The derivation crashes.
Crashes. I love that term. It isn't just wrong, it's a complete disaster.
It is. A crash means the system failed to produce a valid structure. It's not even a sentence.
But the text makes this fascinating distinction between a crash and just gibberish.
Yes. My favorite distinction. Take Chomsky's famous sentence. Colorless green ideas sleep furiously.
Right. Colorless green ideas sleep furiously.
That sentence is total gibberish. It makes no sense. But it does not crash. It has a noun, a verb, adjectives in the right spots. It passes the dress code.
Whereas something like the of to went is a crash.
Correct. The interfaces look at that and say, I can't process this. It's not even language.
So we've removed S structure. We have these two clubs. But here's my question. If there's no rule book in the middle, what drives the traffic? How do words know where to go?
This is the engine of the whole minimalist machine. It's called checking theory.
Checking theory. Sounds like more paperwork.
It's actually more like a magnetism. The text says that words like walk or eat aren't just neutral blocks. When you pull them from your memory, they come covered in these sticky features.
Like past tense or plural.
Exactly. The verb walked has a past tense feature stuck to it. But remember the sound club. They hate those abstract features. They can't hear past tense. They can only hear the ed sound.
So the verb has to get rid of that abstract feature before it arrives.
Precisely. It has to go to a specific station, a functional head like the tense station, to check that feature. If they match, zap, the feature is deleted. It's neutralized.
And if it doesn't check it?
The feature survives. It rides the conveyor belt all the way to the sound club. The bouncer sees this abstract past tense tag and crashes the derivation.
So the whole movement of language, why we put words in a certain order, is just words trying to run around and scrub these features off before they hit the exit.
That is a beautiful summary. Movement is driven by necessity, by the need to check features so the derivation doesn't crash.
Now, here is where it gets really interesting. The text says we used to think tense lowered onto the verb.
Right, a fix hopping. But the source is very firm. We are abandoning lowering. It doesn't make sense. The verb must raise up to the features.
But wait a minute. This brings us back to the French versus English thing. In French, the verb raises visibly. In English, it seems to stay put. If lowering is banned and English verbs don't raise, isn't English crashing all the time?
This is the crucial question, and the text gives us a solution based on the strength of those features.
Strong versus weak features.
Yes, think of features as having a visibility setting. In French, the agreement features on the verb are strong.
Strong meaning loud or what?
Meaning visible. A strong feature is like a neon sign. It is visible to the sound club, to PF.
Oh, that's bad. The Sound Club hates grammatical signs.
Correct. If the French verb stays low, that strong feature will survive until the sound club sees it. Crash. So the French verb has no choice. It must run to the checking station immediately before the sentence is sent to the sound club.
It has to run its errands before it goes to the party.
Exactly. That is overt movement. It happens visibly. We hear it.
But English?
English features are weak.
Weak means invisible.
Invisible to the sound club. PF literally cannot see them. So if an English verb has a weak feature still attached, the sound club lets it in anyway. No crash.
So the English verb doesn't have to move.
It doesn't have to move yet. It still has to get checked eventually for the meaning club, but it can do that later.
This leads to my absolute favorite concept in this entire text, the principle of procrastinate.
It is a legitimate grammatical principle. Procrastinate.
I felt so validated reading this. The text says, overt movement is expensive.
Think of it in terms of biological energy. Moving a word physically takes effort. The system is designed to be economical. If you don't have to do the heavy lifting right now, you don't.
So because English features are weak and invisible, the verb basically says, I'll get to the tense station later.
And later means at logical form. After the sound has already left your mouth. This is covert movement. The text calls it a wired-in reflex. It's cheap. It's virtually free.
So the rule is, do it later if you can.
Exactly. The system tries to reach the sound level as fast as possible. You procrastinate. You leave the heavy lifting for the silent part of the derivation.
So English is basically the lazy language compared to French.
In a manner of speaking, yeah. English takes advantage of the procrastinate principle because its features allow it to. French is forced to work hard.
The source gives another example of this with Irish, doesn't it?
Yes, Irish is a VSO language verb subject-object. And the text explains this beautifully. In Irish, the verb raises overtly. It has strong features. But the subject and the object, they stay put. They procrastinate.
So even within one language, some parts can rush and other parts can wait.
Right. It all depends on the specific strength of the features. In English, the subject must move. We say, John walked, not walked, John. That subject feature is strong. In Irish, it's weak.
It's amazing. This one concept, strong versus weak features, explains all these different word orders.
That's the elegance of minimalism. The machinery is the same. Only the features of the words change.
But I have to catch you on something. We established procrastinate. Don't move unless you have to.
Right.
But what about one movement? Like in, what did you see?
Ah, the classic exception.
Exactly. In English, verbs procrastinate. But when I ask a question, the word what shoots right to the front. Why didn't what procrastinate?
Becomes of another economy principle called last resort.
Last resort. Sounds ominous.
Movement is only allowed if it's absolutely necessary to save the derivation from crashing. In a question, the text argues that the C position, the lid on the sentence structure, has a strong operator feature.
So the position at the front of the sentence is holding up a neon sign that says, I need a question word now.
Yes, and because it's a strong feature, it's visible to PF. If the word what stays at the bottom, that strong feature at the top remains unchecked. It hits the sound interface and boom, crash.
So what moves not because it wants to, but because it has to. It's a last resort.
Exactly. And the text even discusses Watanabe's theory about languages like Japanese or Chinese where the what word stays at the bottom.
So they just don't have this strong feature.
Well, Watanabe argues they might. He suggests that in those languages, an empty operator, an invisible ghost element, moves to the front to check that feature.
Whoa! So even when it looks like nothing is moving, something might still be flying around the structure just to satisfy these economy principles.
That's the theory. It suggests that deep down, the computational system is universal. Every language is obeying last resort and procrastinate. The only difference is which words are carrying the visible flags.
This is absolutely mind-bending. So let's just recap this journey. We started with a complex factory floor, deep structure, surface structure, rules everywhere.
And we stripped it down. We eliminated S structure. We realized it was a byproduct.
We replaced those old rules with a dynamic system of checking. Words are like travelers with features trying to get through checkpoints.
And the whole system is run by economy. Do as little overt work as possible. Procrastinate. Only move as a last resort.
And the result is that all the variety we see in the world's languages, it all boils down to simple, strong, or weak settings on these features.
It's a wildly optimistic theory, really. It implies that the human language faculty is, well, perfect. An optimal solution with no waste.
Which brings us to the end of our dive, but I want to leave you with a thought. The source focuses so heavily on this idea of procrastinate that our grammar prefers to do work in the silent, invisible realm of meaning.
Right. Covert is cheaper than overt.
It makes me wonder, is this a fundamental law of the human mind? We often think of language as communication, as making noise, but this theory suggests that the noise part is actually the expensive, burdensome part our brain tries to minimize. Maybe language isn't primarily about speaking at all. Maybe it's primarily about that silent internal structure of thought, and speech is just an unavoidable expensive side effect we have to pay for.
That is a profound way to look at it. The externalization of language, the sound, is just the tip of a very costly iceberg. The real engine is running silently in the background.
Something to mull over next time you decide to procrastinate on a project. You're not being lazy, you're just being a minimalist. Thanks for diving in with us.
See you next time.